So in this video, I wanted to talk about some car detailing tips that essentially I wish I'd have either figured out sooner or someone else had told me instead. So I'm not really going to be talking about sort of super basic kind of car detailing things like, say, pre-washing your car or, basically things you probably already know. I wanted to talk about things that I maybe don't get as much chance to talk about on my regular videos. So I'm going to kick things off with the first tip on this list, and that is how to avoid products going streaky when you're applying a sealant or a quick detailer to your car. Now, having used a lot of different products on a lot of different cars, every car is kind of different and you don't really know what's already on the surface, and I've sort of figured out really that the main reason why a product tends to go streaky is because there's something else interfering already on that surface. Now, if you have just washed your car and you think you've used a pH neutral pure shampoo that doesn't have any waxes or gloss enhancers, you may still have this problem. Some shampoos rinse a little bit better than others, and if you haven't used a drying towel to dry your car, then you may actually have this issue a little bit more than, say, if you've used a blower, for example. I've noticed that sometimes that residue can cause a product which would typically not go streaky to go streaky. So I found that using a panel wipe solution prior to using a product, if you notice on that first panel it is going streaky, can be the best approach. Now, this typically happens more with sealants. With quick detailers, they're a bit more forgiving. So the whole point of them is it's supposed to be quick. You shouldn't have to use a panel wipe solution first. But if you are having a sealant, something a little bit more heavy duty, and you're finding those streaking issues and you haven't done a panel wipe solution beforehand, then just give it a go, as in my experience it's solved the issue quite a lot of times. Now, there can also be several other reasons why this happens. Some products do have a tendency to streak more than others, and sometimes it's about using either a little bit more or a little bit less, and there isn't kind of a one size fits all. Sometimes as well it's about wiping off a touch earlier. I found that leaving it on a bit longer actually tends to make the streaks worse, as the product's kind of residue dries a bit quicker and you can't buff it off as quickly. And sometimes even using more products can help if you are having that issue. Obviously you don't want to go too heavy with it, as that can create even more streaks, but you do have to have a play around with the timing and the amount you're using, as some products are a little bit more finicky than others. Now, the next one on this list, and I'm not going to go on about this one too much as I have mentioned it on another video in the past, but that is about using detailing brushes at the wrong part of the wash process. Now, I know it's a really common and popular kind of thing to snow foam up your car, go straight in with your detailing brushes all around the badges and things like that, but it's kind of the worst time to do it, as everyone knows, probably, hopefully at least if you're watching this video, that snow foam's a pre-wash, so it's supposed to soften the dirt so it can be rinsed away more easily, and then you go in with your wash mitt, clean the car, and there should be less dirt on the surface so you get less scratches. If you do your brush work during the snow foam stage, all that dirt's kind of already chilling on the car, so you're just rubbing it in, whereas if you rinse that off and then did the brush work in the contact wash stage, you're going to hopefully get a lot less kind of marring, and you're not going to be rubbing that grit into the surface. Now, the next one on my list is something that I did particularly at the start of getting into detailing, and that is choosing cheap wheel brushes. Now, I know exactly why I did it. I just wanted to save a bit of money. Car detailing can get a very expensive hobby. There are a lot of things you can get into and want to buy, and saving a little bit of money here and there on things isn't always a bad thing, but I found with wheel brushes in particular, it always seems to go badly. Since I've invested in some more expensive wheel brushes, so the ones that I'm using at the moment are the Easy Detail ones for the kind of nylon style bristles, and I also use my Carlscope microfiber one for wheels like gloss black and sort of more sensitive finishes, as I do think that it causes less scratches. Ever since I've invested in those, and I have had those for a few years now, I've had no problems. But at the start of getting into detailing, I bought wheel brushes that would last me, say, maybe 2 months tops, and that was with me just washing my car once a week. So yeah, maybe if you are looking at spending a little bit more money on certain things, wheel brushes for me was at least the thing that I thought I should have spent more money on. Now, next up is about leather cleaning, and that is about not kind of over cleaning the leather and being too abrasive with it and using too strong cleaners, basically. When I got my MX-5, I got a load of leather stuff and I was cleaning the steering wheel, deep cleaning it every week, and it was just the wrong thing to do. It basically meant that after a while, the steering wheel got shiny really quickly, and it was because I'd kind of worn that coating away a little bit too much. So I was using a leather brush and a stronger leather cleaner every week because I just wanted to keep it nice and clean, but it was really overkill and I didn't need to be doing it. Now, when I'm maintaining my own car, I actually tend to use rinseless washes in the interior just for that weekly wipe down, or I'll use an interior detailer that's not particularly strong, and that just helps me keep things a little bit nicer and avoids kind of putting too much wear on the leather, as it's something that is a relatively sensitive surface, and that kind of coating, that clear coat that's applied to it, can wear down relatively quickly if you are hammering it with sort of abrasive tools and heavy cleaners week in, week out. Next up is about glass coatings. And glass coatings are really something that I wish I'd have got into sooner. It's actually the first type of coating I ever tried on the car, but yeah, something I really wish I would have used sooner. And the same kind of goes with trim coatings too. Neither of them I think are particularly fun to apply, and particularly glass coatings are an absolute pain to prep. Polishing the windows can take a while and it's kind of a messy process and it's just not that fun really. And that kind of prep stays the same whether you're applying a sealant that's supposed to last a couple of months or a coating that's supposed to last a year. I've found that if you're going to do the prep work on it, it's best just to apply something heavy duty. So a couple of glass coatings that I do really like are Gyeon Repel, so that's in their View kit, and also Soft 99 Glacoat Ultra. Both of those do last really well, and I wish I'd have sort of got into them a little bit sooner rather than being kind of scared of coatings really, because they're not really any more difficult to apply. And next kind of leads on from that, and it's about maintaining the glass coating as well. So I wish I'd have got into hydrophobic glass cleaners a lot sooner, as they do make a massive difference to keeping that glass coating fresh, and meaning that I don't have to go through the faff of preparing and applying a glass coating quite as often. So my favourite one is the Soft 99 Glacoat Cleaner. I really like that one, it's so easy to apply and it does work really well. I have tried some others, so the Gyeon Glass Plus I think it's called, and Carbon Collectives. For me, those felt more like sealants and they needed a lot more buffing, and I just found that if I wasn't careful I'd get streaks with those and kind of smears, whereas with the Soft 99 one I've just never had that problem. So for me, I put a glass coating on all the windows and then I'll top up at least the windscreen monthly, but ideally every couple of weeks, and it just is so quick to do and keeps that glass coating looking really nice for a lot longer. Now, next up is about washing my microfiber towels and mitts, and I really wish I'd have found out how to wash them properly a lot sooner. I think a lot of people, when they get into detailing, get told use microfiber on your car, and that's great, but if you go and buy a load of nice microfiber and then wash it wrong, you kind of miss the point really. So there are loads of mistakes you can make with it. I do have a dedicated video on this on the second channel, so if you want some more detail, I will pop that in the description. What kind of main things to avoid are don't put it on high heat cycles. I never go above 40 degrees and I normally stick it on about 30. Also, don't use fabric softeners as it will clog the fibres and make them a lot less absorbent. Can also make them feel a little bit rough too. And I also don't use powder detergents too, as I don't like if potentially any powder gets undissolved. There's kind of gritty particles in that towel and I go and wipe my car with it, potentially going to cause some marring there. So I only use liquid detergent, so I'll use a non-bio liquid, or I use a dedicated microfiber detergent. And the next point on my list kind of goes back to that over cleaning thing that I was talking about with the leather, but this time it's on the tyres. Now, I got into the habit of essentially battering the sidewall of my tyre every single week with a heavy tyre cleaner and then redressing it. And although that can make it look nice, I do think it's overly aggressive if you are maintaining your car sort of every week or every few weeks. It also is just a lot of effort as well. So what I like to do now, particularly on my own car, as I am maintaining that a lot more frequently, is to use a wheel shampoo, or even if you want to use a regular shampoo to clean the wheels, you can use that on the tyres as well. Now that works great if you are using a tyre dressing that's designed to kind of be layered and built up. So for this, I'm talking about things like Garage Therapy Tyre Serum and Yum Dress, which aren't basically supposed to just sit on the sidewall and look pretty, but are supposed to basically condition the rubber too. Now, if you're using one of those, you don't need to start battering it every week. With a tyre cleaner, stripping it off and putting it back on, you can kind of build it up. And just going over it with a wheel shampoo and a nice sort of soft-ish tyre brush. So I don't like the sort of super stiff tyre brushes, as again, I think they kind of skate over the rubber a little bit, and I actually, although you would think they would provide a deeper clean, don't think they're as good as something like a Detail Factory tyre brush, which is a little bit softer. But I like to just do that with a wheel shampoo every couple of weeks on my own car, and then reapply the tyre dressing if necessary. And they kind of look good all year round, and it doesn't take long to get that sort of base layer built up. Usually for me, after a couple of months of using it, the tyres are going to look pretty good between washes. You won't need to start using heavy tyre cleaners, which are A, expensive and B, a bit aggressive. I will still use those products though on cars which aren't as well maintained, so to kind of reset that tyre, I will go down that route, but after that I prefer to kind of maintain it really. Now next up, I wish I'd have known that the drying process is actually one of the biggest culprits for causing swirl marks. So if you do everything right with a pre-wash, your contact wash, but then make some mistakes in the drying stage, you can still get a load of marks all over your car. So some things to think about are prime your drying towel. So if you are going to be wiping it across the car, prime it on the windows at least first to get it wet, or even consider using either a rinseless wash or some kind of quick detailer to kind of lubricate that towel. But if I am dealing with particularly sensitive paintwork, then I do actually prefer to kind of pat the card dry instead of dragging the towel across it, as it just really reduces that risk. You can also think about things like using a car dryer, but obviously that's an expensive piece of equipment to kind of invest in if you don't have one already. And it does take a while to dry the whole car with one. If you just pat the car dry nicely with a good quality microfiber towel that's nice and soft, then you shouldn't have those kind of issues. It will take a little bit longer than dragging the towel, but particularly on sensitive paintwork, it is something that I do like to do. Now, next up, I'm going to talk about a couple of products which I wish I'd have got sooner that have basically made my life a lot easier. And those are to do with the pressure washer. So first off is a quick release short trigger. Having that is just a massive upgrade. When I first got one, I had a Karcher K4 and that massive lance was just such a pain. It was kind of really stiff and I used to get really annoyed with it. But now with my quick release, it's just totally fine. And obviously you can sort of switch the adapter. So if you do change to a different pressure washer, you can just switch the adapter and you can use it on your new one rather than kind of getting stuck with a particular brand. And next up is a turbo nozzle for carpeted wheel arches. Now, to be honest, I don't really know how I'll manage without this. It's gone from carpeted wheel arches being the absolute bane of my life to actually being even easier than plastic ones. So I can just blast them out with that turbo nozzle and it's going to get rid of pretty much everything. And I'll give them a quick going over with the Easy Go brush and whatever wheel cleaner or all-purpose cleaner that I'm using. And it just makes my life so much easier and saves me so much time. So yeah, a couple of pieces of equipment that I wish I'd have known about sooner. And finally, I wish I'd have spent a bit more time looking after my foam cannon and kind of known how quick it was to do when I first got them. So basically now, every time I have finished with whatever I'm using in the foam cannon, if the cannon is totally empty, I'll put a bit of water in and spray it through for about 20 seconds. And that's going to basically flush the entire system through and mean that the foam cannon doesn't get clogged, so I don't have to spend ages taking it apart and deep cleaning it. And then if I've still got something left in the tank, I'll just take that bottle off and then basically pull the trigger and it will flush through everything apart from the pickup pipe really. So that makes a massive difference and it's just so quick to do and it will save a lot of time when it comes to maintenance and potentially even buying a new foam cannon if you do happen to have such an issue with clogging or buying spare parts and things like that. So I hope you found this video helpful. The specific products that I've mentioned, of course, will be linked in the description. And if you have enjoyed it, it'd be brilliant as always if you dropped it a like. And thanks very much for watching.